This month of June, we start a new series, which is Workplace Systems and Performance. And this series will run over the next 3 months. To start off the series today, we'll be looking at the human emotional experience of work. Recently, I attended an event where someone shared a story about her former employer during one of the most difficult periods of her life. Instead of this employer to treat her situation as an inconvenience to productivity, he adjusted her schedule so she could attend to this issue and continue working sustainably. Years after leaving that workplace, she still spoke with deep gratitude about how supported, seen, and understood she felt during one of the hardest seasons of her life. And it reminded me of something I have come to understand in my years of practice. People never forget how you made them feel during difficult periods of life. These experiences have changed my understanding of work significantly. And as a doctor working in occupational health, I'm trained to assess measurable outcomes. So we're talking injuries, fatigue, sickness absence, and performance decline. But working across different organizations has taught me that many workplace problems begin with the human emotional experience of work. That employee that is sitting in a meeting might also be a parent that is worried about their sick child, or might be somebody that is managing a medical diagnosis, or someone grieving the loss of a loved one, or someone navigating divorce, caregiving responsibilities, exhaustion, and they're all still expected to function normally. Yet, many workplace systems will operate as though these emotions exist separately from performance. People will leave their emotions at the door and come into work wearing another cloak strictly for work. But this is not how it works. How people experience their work emotionally will affect their concentration, their decision making, their communication, their engagement, retention, loyalty, long term performance, basically every aspect of their work. And the challenge is that many people will continue to function even while they're emotionally overwhelmed. So deadlines are still met, the meetings continue, their targets are achieved, and on the surface, the organization appears functional. But these unresolved emotional strains will eventually show up as burnout, as disengagement, as poor concentration, unnecessary conflict with their colleagues, high turnover of staff, decision fatigue, or declining performance. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge a leadership concern. The fear that the organization, once they begin to accommodate these human realities, the system becomes vulnerable to abuse. And to some extent, that's understandable. Not every employee will engage the support provided responsibly. But avoiding this human centered approach entirely because of that possibility creates a situation where people stop feeling safe to communicate honestly until things become critical. So the goal is to be balanced and create a structure around these accommodations. Large organizations, for instance, cannot rely on individual and discretionary kindness. So all these things need to be embedded in leadership culture, systems, and policy. And what this may look like in practice is creating flexible working arrangements during periods of crisis, compassionate leave policies, psychological safety frameworks, clear workload management systems, employee well-being structures, manager training on emotional intelligence, leadership, return to work support after illness, bereavement, or even major life events. What this does is that it removes dependency on that nice manager factor and avoids inconsistency in the system. I believe that workplace performance cannot be separated from human experience. Sustainable performance depends on how people experience the systems that they work within. So, over the coming weeks, this workplace systems and performance series will explore that intersection from the different perspectives through which